Mr. Hice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I really appreciate the opportunity for this hearing on the National Park Service Centennial Act proposed by Chairman Bishop, and I want to thank each of our witnesses for being here. Mr. Now, I'd like to direct my questions to you. Can you tell me specifically how the National Park Foundation, what the role is of the foundation in the Centennial?
Well, the foundation was enacted back in '66, and we function as the 501c3 to raise funding. Over the first 45 years, it's been pretty much philanthropy driven through Director Jarvis's leadership and the leadership of the board of the foundation. We've been able to expand into corporate partnerships, increased the philanthropy, and we work with the Park Service then to address programmatic needs and begin to deal with enhancing the visitor experience. Corporate funding, right now we're at about $45 million in 15 and projected into 16 with what we know we have. And that's $45 million plus what comes in the door in the future that didn't exist just 12 months ago.
So there's a good relationship between you and the Park Service, are working well together.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate Mr. Westerman mentioning, and Director Jarvis as well, the various corporations that are coming on board in the attempt to put together a public and private partnership. I understand that Coca-Cola Corporation, as was mentioned, is a major leader in that, and of course we are exceedingly honored to have Coca-Cola in my home state of Georgia, and their leadership in so many ways has just been spectacular. But in donating over $1 million a year to the foundation as well is tremendous. But I want to jump on Director Jarvis's comments, and it's still to you, Mr. Now. Are there incentives to attract more corporations to come on board?
The incentives are the visitors. If you go back and look at what I would consider to be the traditional funding model, federal funding, a little bit of philanthropy, what we're all addressing here today is what's the new funding model going forward. The government's got to be in. There has to be some philanthropy. There needs to be increased volunteerism. And the last one is corporate engagement. And with the hundreds of thousands and millions of visitors that flow through the parks, and they are iconic, corporate America, particularly those that deal with consumer goods, are logical partners. And as we have gone out to talk to them, they've responded tremendously. And I want to address one issue that has always come up. Corporate America wants recognition, but they do not want to overstate it within a park. Subtle, they don't want to be the ones to have pushback for too much recognition within a park. And again, I'll say to Director Jarvis and the service, what the recognition that they've authorized in the parks right now with our sponsors helps us go out to other sponsors. Corporate America is going to be there now that they know the service would be a good partner for them.
Well, you mentioned in your testimony that some people are concerned with the over-commercialization within some of the parks. Is there a way, as you just brought up, to tastefully recognize the corporations without overstepping the line of being overly commercialized? And does this bill hit the balance?
Yes. On the balance issue, the answer is yes.
Okay.
The governor there is not just the Park Service, it's the corporations. We don't want to overstate. And if you go into many of the parks today, you will see signage on Find Your Park. And along the bottom are corporate logos recognizing those partners that are engaged. That's all we want. That's all the recognition that corporations have asked for. So there's a really good partnership dynamic going on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'll yield back with the comment that with Coca-Cola's leadership, I encourage everyone to go drink a Coke today. Thank you, and I yield back.